And I'd really love to hear your contribution to what's happening currently right now in South Africa. 021448-6666 is the number you can dial. I got an SMS that was reflecting on what the interview that I had before this one about the xenophobic attacks. I'll be reading to you guys a little bit later on, just after I speak to Kanyisa. Kanyisa, thank you so much for joining me today, and how are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you very much for having me.
Such great pleasure. We need to hear young people's voices when it comes to this, because we are the young people, and we need to, have some sort of involvement in this. So just to introduce and activate it to our listeners, as well as who is Kanyisa and what is your role?
Activate Change Drivers is a network essentially of young people driving change in and around South Africa. You start by being part of a 1-year program, and when you completed the program, then you're an activator for the rest of your life. So the intention of the program is to drive public innovation for the greater good of South Africa. So essentially, we're looking at young people that are heavily involved in different communities. Obviously, community being the schooling community, where you live at, where you work at, even some of the places that you socialize in. So we're looking at people that can and do drive change for the greater good of the country in those spaces.
Definitely. Now, speaking of the xenophobic attacks that's been currently happening, what is Activate Change Drivers doing?
Well, when we initially found out, we were not certain whether it was an isolated incident or if it was ongoing. Unfortunately, it has been going on for the past 2 weeks now. So what we have been mobilizing for necessity, so getting people to donate food, baby food, nappies, sanitary towels, and clothes to the campsites. There are 2 campsites at the moment. Altogether, they've got over 1,200 people living there. And furthermore, we're driving for conversations to start happening. There are high-level conversations that are happening to see what can be done in terms of stopping the attacks from happening, but we're also mobilizing for a lower level, for lack of a better word, conversations to happen in communities, because it's exactly where the conversations need to happen for the attacks to stop happening. So we've had contact with civil society organizations on the ground to see if they can speak to their people and get the attack. It's been very unfortunate because even this morning we heard that Guamash in the case section that there was an attack. Fortunately, some of the hostile leaders were able to stop the attack from carrying on, but the fear is that it's spreading instead of stopping. So there needs to be serious conversations happening to at least hear what is it, why are people so violently angry.
And as young people in Activate, are you guys planning to conduct these, open meetings, I would say, as soon as possible, or are you still looking into it and just finding ways on how to resolve this issue?
Unfortunately or unfortunately, some of the young people of the Activate Network are part of the community, which gives us a vantage point in that we are able to say we will be having those conversations. Also, we are able to also visit the campsites. We've got something that's called the Volunteer Day. We've got activators that will be going to the campsites this coming Friday to help out with the campsite, but also to capture the stories of the people that live there, to hear what exactly happened. So essentially what we're looking at is getting both sides of the story. Not just saying, okay, well, these guys are being attacked, but we also find out why people are actually attacking other people. The intention as well is to have a widespread campaign all around South Africa, on not only sensitizing, but also just curbing the attacks from happening elsewhere. So starting the conversation before the attacks even start.
Now, you mentioned something that's very interesting, that you guys want to get to the bottom of this in a way that you would like to get the story from both sides. So far, What do you think might be the main cause of xenophobic attacks that is happening right now? Because we had conversations 2008 and 2009, but it's reoccurring again now. So from your point of view, what do you think is the main problem here?
Sure. So there's been highly intellectualized sort of conversations where I've had with some of my friends where people were saying it's Afrophobia, which means that people are actually attacking not foreigners but specifically African foreigners of African origin. And I've also borne witness to that in the camps. The people that are there are people of African descent or foreign origin coming from different African countries. What's also interesting to note is that it's people that are living within the township communities, your semi-rural, your peri-urban areas that are very poverty-stricken. And I mean, my theory is that it's more a resource sort of induced kind of anger where you have people living in your community, you don't have anything. Those people they've been around for 2 years, and already you can see that they are making it work where you are not able to make it work. So I think it's sort of it's almost like a resource tug of war, because you find that the more affluent African people of African origin are not necessarily affected and are not necessarily attacked. So I think if we're going to figure out what it is, I think we need to look at the social, not even political, possibly political, but socio-economic factors that are contributing to the violent attacks. Because if it's the K-section hostel, they're highly impoverished people there. If it's nasal, they're highly impoverished people there. If the team is outside of Durban, and the communities there also are also in areas of poverty, as well as the ones in Chatsworth. So there's a bit of tug of war in terms of how are foreigners coming to our country, making it work when we are unemployed and we don't have anything and such thing. And there's also allegations that, the drugs that are in the communities that young people are taking are coming from people of foreign origin. I mean, obviously, it's there, there's a whole lot of conversation to be had there. From my understanding, what I'm picking up is the kinds of communities that these are happening in are where people really are in trouble economically. And so then in that way, I would say we would need to figure out what needs to happen. And is that I feel that some of the people that are people of Africa from the African countries have not necessarily been integrated into the community. So they are within the communities, but they are communities on their own. So they don't know whose kids these are. Nobody knows what their names is. They just know what nobody really knows what their names are, how they came to come to South Africa, what's happening in their country, so that people even around have an understanding. So that's basically the long and short of it. So the economic factors, the fact that there's no real integration into the communities, and some of the allegations of crimes that are committed against the community members.
Definitely. You mentioned something that I think is very important, that this is happening at one can say, disadvantaged communities. Would you also, say that because we understand that the unemployment rate in South Africa and mostly amongst young people, would you also say that also the frustration amongst young people that are unemployed contributes to making, to actually having this situation that we're in right now? And as a young person, and I understand Activate works really closely with young people, how do you think we can help that situation?
My observation is that a lot of the attacks actually have been started by young people.
Okay.
So it may very well be from a position of frustration. So, I mean, I think there's a lot of sensitizing and conscientizing that needs to happen. And it's not easy to conscientize someone who you don't know where they come from. So what I'm saying is, if I am looting, if I'm breaking windows, if I'm doing this and I'm doing that, unless I'm doing this, you can't help or you can't stop me from doing it because you don't know where it's coming from. And I think primarily what we need to do is listen. We need to find out why young people are so upset.
Yeah.
Is it unemployment? Is it that there's lack of opportunities? Is it that they don't have access to these opportunities? Are they just being naughty? What is happening? So I think the first thing we need to know is the why. Why are people doing it? Why are young people involved in such things? And when we find out the why, it's only then that we can move to the next level of saying possibly what can be done. Until then, we can't. We can't actually access something that we can be sure will work until we know why people are doing what they're doing.
Definitely. Just last words on exactly, how can, if someone in KZN right now and they'd like to, volunteer and help you guys change drivers into helping these people, how can they get a hold of you guys and how do they go about doing that?
Okay. There is a number that they can call. It's also available on WhatsApp, so the young people must be WhatsApp, which is 061 601 7733. It's a number that you can call and it's a number that you can text to if you would like to be part of either volunteering at the campsite or if you've got some stuff that you'd like to donate. It's also a number that you can call if you are wanting to find out what can be done. If you know that in your community there's a group of young people that are part of this and you'd like to have a conversation with them, we know that we've got a point person that we can get a hold of to gather those young people to start the conversation. Further than that, we are in the process of doing a thing, like I said, to sensitize about xenophobia for now, which is like a really huge concept, which I think in our campaign would break it down and give it a bit there to say what exactly is xenophobia, what is meant by it. So I think my last word is that we need to do our part. If we are quiet and we are letting what's happening at the neighbors carry on, then we are just as guilty. So right now, as the attacks are happening in KZN, I'm just as guilty as the people that are throwing the stones and looting because I haven't really accessed a way to make it stop. So if South Africans that are doing it, I'm also South African, therefore I'm just as guilty. So the only way for us to actually change it is to take that one step to change. If it means talking, if it means reporting, if it means donating, trying to do something. You can't do nothing. That's the point. That's the bottom of it. You can't just do nothing while it's going to carry on.
Okay. Thank you so much, Kanyisa, for speaking to me today. I really hope all the young people that are currently listening to the show right now, because I know there are people, young people specifically that are listening to the show, will find your words very encouraging coming from, Activate Change drivers. Thank you so much once again, Kanyisa.
Thank you so much for having me.
All the best. Just to confirm the number, so it's 061 601 7733.
That's correct.
Definitely. Thank you so much, Kanyisa, for joining me.
Thank you so much.
All right. Have a good afternoon.
You do the same. Thanks. Bye.
Bye. Now, of course, that was Kanyisa from the Activate Change drivers. Basically, they're really condemning South Africans, specifically young people. And I say specifically young people simply because I know Activate Change drivers works very closely with young people. It's good because it only means that young South Africans also want to make a change in this world. But also, what she mentions is that young people are also involved in these xenophobic attacks. They're contributing to that. So what we need to establish or what we need to find is why is this happening? Is it unemployment? Is it because of lack of opportunities? Or is it just anger? Is it because you like kids are being naughty or is it just like Indians like for the fun of it or whatever the case is? So maybe Kanyisa mentioned that we need to establish and find out why is that. And they are doing an amazing thing by having public talks, or rather they have public conversations to find out into this as to this and actually find ways in which we can work together to resolve this before it escalates into India. I'm sure we don't want war.